hello, everyone. Welcome to the Natural to Natural podcast. I am your host, Samika Hartley, and today we have a very special guest who is dear to my heart because she is my beautiful cousin, Robyn Melissa. Hello, Melissa. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing even better now that I have you here on my show with me. I am
Thank
so
you.
excited to have you here. Like, I'm always excited to have everybody on their show, but I'm even extra excited to have like family talk to family on the show. You look absolutely stunning. Oh
Aw,
my
love
gosh,
it.
you look so beautiful. We're
Thank
gonna get into all this, beautiful fabulousness later on. But why
Okay.
don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to our guests?
All right. Well, as she said, I'm her cousin. My name is Robyn, or you also know me as Melissa or Missy, depending on how far back we go. um, I'm 38 years old. Can you believe it? Cause I'm
Oh,
30.
girl,
I
please
know. I
don't
know.
say your age because that's gonna remind me of my age. Okay.
I know. Yes, but I'm a mom of two. I have a 9-year-old and a 4-year-old who hopefully will not pay us a visit at any point during the show.
We don't know, but if he does, we understand. All right,
Right.
this is what being quarantined and then this pandemic is all about. Like, you just never know what's going to pop up, and you just
Girl,
have to accept it all, right?
exactly. And I'm also a dental hygienist. And on the side, I do fitness coaching. So that's my whole little summary of what I've been up to.
Well, nice. Well, thank you so much for agreeing to come on the show. As you know, this is a show where we talk about, all things natural hair, but then we also get into like life and how that transitions into your life and finding balance, right? Okay, so why don't you tell us was it like for you growing up being natural? Was it something that was readily accepted in your family? Was it something that you were told to run away from or taught to run away from? Like, what was it like for you growing up?
So I think for us, because I have an older sister, obviously, I think I kind of just fell in place as far as how things were already happening. So my mom, she was like the local hair person. So she was the one that everybody would come to get their hair done.
Really?
So
Auntie?
yes,
Really?
yes, exactly. So she was good with that press and comb. So I remember, we have our little kindergarten, pre-K pictures where your hair was pressed out and they could barely fit the little cap on your head because you had such big hair. But yeah, we definitely went through the whole process of, having that hot comb get close to your ears and getting popped because you flinched, and it was a whole big fight. And don't, whatever you do when you went out or you went to visit someone, you did not wet your hair. um yeah, that was a big thing. But yeah, definitely up until I want to say elementary school, we natural was the way we went, to the extent that we didn't have any processing in it, but we definitely did the perm with
Okay.
the hot
The
comb.
pressing. You did the pressing, right? Okay.
Exactly.
So you would go back and forth between the plaids and then pressing your hair, but no chemicals in your hair. Okay.
No.
Up until about what age?
I want to say around 7 or 8. So
Okay.
it was like the when you first, so if you could Google the year that PCJ came out.
PCJ.
Yes,
That's a kitty perm?
yes.
Okay.
So whenever that was invented, that's when we transitioned, because that's what everybody was using. So that's what my mom put it in my hair, and we used that up until she went on to whatever other, relaxers that came out that was supposed to be for Black women's hair. But yep, we started with that. Um, she was on top of things, so of course it was still healthy. We had a lot of kids in the neighborhood, if you remember, in the 80s and 90s. That whole perming transition,
I can attest to that.
It didn't go too well for them. It did not go too well for them.
Me. You see all my pictures. My ponytails were like this, sticking out of my head. Up here, my bangs were like up here.
Oh no,
I
poor
was a
thing.
little envious and jealous of you and Quetta because
Yes,
y'all always had that
thick hair.
coarse hair. Like I don't care what you do with it, it
Yeah.
was always thick and full and relatively long, so you were able to have the ponytail hang.
Yes,
You know?
yes. So she definitely, even though she wasn't licensed, but whatever she knew how to do, she knew how to take care of it, even with the relaxer. So of course we went through the whole, ooh, it's burning. Oh, you gotta hold out, leave it in a little bit longer. I told you not to scratch beforehand, and then you wrap it up, and then it gets stuck to your scalp, and we went through all of that for years. I want to say my mom was in charge of my hair from all of that time up until I was around 10 or 11. And then I met one of my closest friends who went to school for cosmetology. And so she took over for the most part and still relaxing my hair, but she knew how to take care of it with the trimming and stuff like that. So from that time on all the way up until I was in my early 20s, I relaxed my hair.
Wow. So now would you say, because I know you said when your mom would press your hair, you would get the burn and you would flinch. Would you say that you were kind of traumatized growing up, or no, not really? It didn't really affect you in any way?
It's like I hear grease popping now, and I'm like, no.
I think we all were to some extent, right? It was like we got spanked for getting burned. Like,
Yeah.
how you spanked and pop for getting burned? We were just trying to react to the hot comb because we didn't want to feel the heat. And they're like, it's not the hot comb, it's just the heat that you feel. Right. Yeah. Well, that steam was burning me too, you know?
Exactly. Yes. So it's like this whole thing. Well, but everyone, even in other cultures, whatever it is, we are taught that beauty is pain, right?
Exactly.
So we understood, well, if you wanted to look cute for your pictures tomorrow, then you got to sit through this. And, if for whatever it was, whatever event we had coming up, we were told that this is the only way that it was going to look nice if it was like pulled and stretched and pressed into a certain style. But yes, traumatizing. Yes, I will say it definitely was.
Oh my God, listen, you ain't never lie when you said when we were taught that beauty was pain. And I was so happy when I finally realized that was a lie. Like you do not have to go through pain to look beautiful or to feel beautiful or to be beautiful. Okay, so now that we know you started relaxing your hair at the time of 11 years old, when did you decide to finally just stop relaxing your hair? Like you were done, and why did you decide? Like when and why?
So like I said, it must have been in my early 20s. And if you remember pictures of me, I always had some type of color in my hair.
Right.
When I was relaxing it. So again, the girl that was doing my hair, I was like complaining about it breaking. And she said, that's because you're putting two different chemicals and it's drying your hair out. And so that's why it's breaking off. So she was like, you shouldn't do both. So me being the crazy, 20-year-old that I was like, okay, well then I'll just stop perming it. Like, that's fine. If I can still keep coloring it because I like to add the color, then I'll just stop perming it. I mean, what's the big deal? She knew how to flick a hot comb too. So, I was comfortable with switching it up. And so that's what I did. So she cut it out slowly. And then again, I've done this kind of cut before, and I just went ahead and just cut the rest of the perm out. And then that's when I went natural. So it had to be, I must have been like 22, 23 years old. And I just cut the perm completely out and just like would add whatever color I wanted to add to it at the time. But that was my motivation, so that I could color it.
And it was more important than having a real. So let's clarify that, because you said perm. So perm and relaxer are two different things. So Black women don't get perms. We get relaxers. Perms are for straight hair to make it curly. Exactly. So you were getting a relaxer, but for you, the color was far more important, because if you wanted to wear straight, you could always still just flick a hot comb in it and you could get that look. So that's why you decided to, because healthy hair was important to you. But you knew that if you had to choose, you would keep the color in it. Okay. So then now that you decided, so it wasn't really that you wanted to go natural. It was that you just wanted healthy hair, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And so you pretty much stayed along the course ever since?
Ever since. I never went back. Yeah, because so that's when you and I reconnected. So it was like that time of me coloring it, and then you and I reconnected, and then you like opened my mind to like what natural hair was all about, and the fact that we could have our hair naturally and not look a hot mess. And it was like, what is this? And you had the natural products and everything. So that's when I was like, okay. And then if you notice, that's when I even stopped coloring it.
Yes, yes. I was
That's
ready
when
to
I
ask
stopped
you that
coloring.
too. So what made you decide to stop coloring it as
So
well?
again, it's all about education. So like when my friend educated me of how much the relaxer along with the color damaged my hair. And then when you came along and you told me how even coloring by itself still damages your natural hair if you wanted it to grow. And I was like, okay, so what are my options? So then that's when I started doing more natural hairstyles where I would add hair to my natural hair, but then it would just have color in it. And I was like, okay, so I got the best of both worlds. I got my hair to still be healthy and strong and natural underneath, but then at the end, I got the color that I wanted. So
That's a beautiful thing. And I love it when you said that when you learn that being natural don't mean that you have to be a hot mess, because that is what most people started to think in the beginning.
yeah,
Like we had this idea in our head that if we were natural, that we were walking around with a head full of kinky, uncombed hair that was just matted and just looked a hot mess. But that's not what natural hair is all about, or natural beauty is all about. And like you pointed out, once you're educated and you see the variety, you see the beauty and the versatility of our hair, you're like, oh, I could do
oh
that to my hair, and
yes,
I could do that to my hair.
exactly.
And I know you are a woman of many looks and many changes. So the fact that you learn that, okay, being natural don't mean that I have just one option, but
Right.
I could be my hair could be healthy and it could be versatile at the same time. Oh, I'm gonna take that.
Yes,
Like
yes,
I could
exactly.
do that. I could
Yes.
do that. And you've been doing it very well ever since. I feel like every time I see you, like on social media or in person, you look like a whole different Melissa.
Yes, I love being able to switch it up. I love the fact that, and with it being natural, is stronger, which I didn't realize as well when I was relaxing it. And especially with me adding other things to it, then it was always breaking, and I couldn't do so much with it. But my natural hair was a lot stronger, and it could take a lot more of styling and stuff like that. Of course, you still have to take care of it, but it definitely gave me a lot more options.
Exactly. So now, did you have, when you decided to transition back to being natural, did you have any challenges? Were there any challenges for you when you decided? But you did say you just cut it all off. So
I did.
then,
I cut it
okay.
down. But I think the biggest thing is because so we all watch those videos, right? The YouTube videos, and they're like,
Yes.
okay, so what you do is you twist. So you're like, okay, okay, I did that, and you tie it, and then the next day you get up and you look nothing like the person in the video. So I think that was my biggest challenge is trying to do things because I would always try. I would at least try, but being frustrated when your beautician lives in New Jersey and
Right.
you're in Brooklyn. And so you're like, what can I do? I can't get out to her and I want to look nice for this event and I don't know what to do. Like I just personally just didn't have the skill or the understanding of what I needed to do in order to look nice. So I think that was my biggest issue. It was just trying to have those moments where I couldn't get to someone to style it for me and wanting to look nice. And so that was the frustration. You know, you have those moments, you twist it, you think, oh, this is great. I want to let it air dry because I don't want to sit in the dryer. And you take it out and it's still wet. But you don't have that curly hair that can be wet and still like it just shriveled and you're like, oh, it's not what I was going for. Yeah.
Redo real quick, right?
Yeah.
And you know what? You are not alone. You are not alone, Melissa, because I mean, from just in my professional experience, you know, most women that I talk to, it's your story. I watch tons of YouTube videos. I spend tons of hours, bought all these products, and I just don't understand. I did everything she did. Why isn't my hair looking like that?
Right.
And there's so many different components that go along with it. And what most women don't realize when they first see the video is that when you see that person, she didn't just go on there and mastered it that one time. She practiced and practiced and practiced and tweaked it and tweaked it and tweaked it until it came out looking like that for you to want to do it. So you're not going to get up there on the first time and do it and it's going to look, but see, you don't know that, right? That's why you figure the videos up there. Oh, if I just follow it step by step, it's not like an ingredient, right? You know, you have a cooking ingredient and you follow that ingredient and to the T and then it tastes like that. Following instructions and watching someone do their hair is not like that at all, because there are so many different other components that go into it. It's her hair density, it's her hair length, it's the hair shape, it's her facial structures. So all those things completely change the way that style is going to look on her versus the way that it's going to look on you, right? Exactly. And you as a regular person wouldn't fully understand that, right? But it takes someone like a professional to come and explain to you. You might or may not be able to do it, but if you do, we're going to have to tweak it a little. We might have to use a different product. We might have to add something or take something away so that it suits you. So this is why you have so many women disappointed in the YouTube videos, right?
Yes, and disappointed when they go natural, because they don't have the professional right there with them. Like you now, I think since you started, you were one of the rare people that were encouraging people to go natural and who knew the products. But for the most part, you walked into a beauty salon and you told them you wanted to keep your hair natural. They would look at you like, you want to do what now? You mean you want me to press it? No. I don't want you to straighten it. I don't want you to press it. I want you to give me a style with the way. No, or they would attempt it and you're like,
they don't know what they're doing. Exactly. Clearly, you should have listened to them and knew took your head. Right?
Exactly. So that now, was your cue. Yes. So now it's available. Now you can go throughout. You know, I can go anywhere in Brooklyn for the most part. You still, of course, have to find the best quality, but it's definitely a lot more available where people are more knowledgeable about, owning your natural hair and how to style it. So they have the products, they have the styles, So yeah, it's definitely much more easily accessible now as compared to what was that? It must have been like 2005 or something like that.
Right, a few years back. And the other thing too, which is really important, is education. So educating women like you. So even if you sit in my chair and I know how to do your hair, what information or what knowledge am I giving you to teach you about your hair so that you understand how to care for it when you're home, which is the most important thing, because it's not so much what I do in the chair, it's what how is the maintenance that you learn to do when you get home. And that's where real hair care come in, right? Because you might come to me when you would come once every 3 to 6 months. Right. What are you doing in between that time? That is the most important thing. And that's what women really need to, that's what we as African American women really need to learn, is what works best for my individual hair. Because my hair is totally different than Robyn's, although the texture might look very similar. Our lifestyles are totally different. Our diets are totally different, so we really need to understand what's going to work best for me. Product and hair and styling, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, great. So let's talk about these pounds that you done dropped. Oh, girl. Yes, you are looking all of fabulous. Oh, how much weight has it been you lost so far?
It's been over 70 pounds.
Okay, that is amazing. So you lost over 70 pounds and you have managed to keep it off in spite of this pandemic that got everybody all up in nerves and everything. You haven't put it back on. So tell us about that journey, even with being natural, right? So having natural hair and getting yourself fit, that whole mindset where you're taking care of yourself.
So for sure, I think what was good for me is that I like to switch my hair up. So you'll see, like if you look on my Instagram, you'll see my pictures. I have a different little crochet, a different weave, like whatever it was, where it was a protective style that I could keep. And so that way, when I woke up in the morning and I worked out, I didn't have to worry about styling my hair afterwards. And then sometimes it would be natural and it'll look crazy. Those were the ones I didn't post. Um, but yeah, for the most part, I tried to keep protective styles so that I
Mhm.
could just keep going. Um, but yeah, 2017 was the beginning for me, where it was just like I was frustrated with being so overweight. I had gotten up to over 300 pounds with my pregnancy
Wow.
with Jeremiah. Yeah, I was yeah, I was shocked too when the scale said that. I thought it was broken. I was like, they had me step on this defective scale. But the doctor said you've been eating real good during your pregnancy. So but then I didn't want to do anything. Like now here it is. He was born in February. So he's, a few months old now. And I don't really want to, take them outside and run around. Noah Simone is 5.
You didn't
So
have the energy.
no, yeah, because he nursed his whole first year, so you're still nursing, and so you still, and then I was back to work after 3 months after I delivered, so you're working full time, and then you're nursing. So I'm pumping at work, I'm nursing when I get home from work, so it's draining on my body, but then I'm still eating the bad foods, so I'm not getting the proper energy back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so with all of that.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. So it's with all of that, couldn't help it. Couldn't help it. It had to happen at least one time.
Mhm.
It's okay. It had to happen at least one
He
time.
needed he needed his time,
Right.
right?
He had to come out with his blanket over his head.
Like we weren't
Um,
going to see him.
he said, technically, you didn't see me because I came out with a blanket
Exactly.
over my head. Um,
Go ahead.
so that was my breaking point. Was I just was like, I just need to be able to do something, and so I just started joining challenges where you would just, everyone would compete to see who would lose the most weight. And then I started doing my own workout classes with different friends of mine, especially started with my sister wanting to shed some pounds too, and then I added other friends, and so now we fast forward, we're 3 years into it. And I still have my classes going regularly, which keeps me accountable. So even during quarantine, when everybody else, we had our triggers, right? That would make us want to eat more. I worked out more. So I definitely ate more.
But you balanced it out with the work
I'm
with the
not
work.
gonna lie. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, well, I just made sure I drank, my water, and I just no.
No.
I stressed out with everyone else, and I had my snacks that I ordered, and I sat here stressing about what are we going to do? Are we going to get back to work? What's going to happen? Being in the healthcare profession, but I wasn't a first responder, so we were shut down. I didn't know what was going to happen, so I was stressing. So I definitely ate, but I already had the routine of working out.
Mhm.
So I don't think that I gained per se. I didn't lose during quarantine, but I definitely maintained, and I was able to keep that maintenance going. So then when everything got, well, I don't think we're ever back to normal, but once we actually got open back up and I started going back to work, I already had my routine going. So I kept it going. I would just have to move the classes up earlier in the morning so that I could get my workout in before I headed out to work. And I think that helped with the stress of knowing as a hygienist, we're like the number one on the list of people who can contract this virus.
Because you're right directly in the person's face. Right.
Exactly. So knowing that, I think I was so on edge with getting into work, and the fear of you go back to work, you spent all these months trying to avoid getting this virus, and then you go back into work and you get it. So I think working out helped stabilize mentally, getting those hormones kind of balanced, and you head out the door, and of course making sure you took the proper precautions when you got to work. But I think definitely knowing how to eat right so that you're eating the right things to keep you healthy.
Right.
Internally, and then doing the workouts that helped me when I got into work. And so was I still stressed? Yes. Was my body like exhausted? And yes, because I think I was holding all the tension in.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So when I was back in when we opened back up in July, when I would get home from work, I would be done because I was just so stressed. And then as things calmed down and you got used to going in, then it's like everything kind of balanced out. But the one thing that was always my constant was making sure that I continued to keep working out and eating clean.
Right.
That's the important thing. And now everyone is different as far as what they eat. Like some people, like I know for you, you're not a meat eater. You decide to take that out of your diet. I, Other people decide to take, cut back on the dairy products or whatever it is that you find that just doesn't work for your body. That's fine. But just making sure that you're cooking and you're eating things that are healthy, and as natural as you possibly can go, and staying away from the bad snacks, the things that cause us to be more lethargic all the time or dehydrated, because all of that leads to like a mental drain and then a physical drain. And that's
Right.
good, especially as we go into these fall and winter months where obviously, there's other viruses out there that you were worrying about getting besides one, so you just have to keep that all in mind when you're heading out.
Right. I mean, you touched on so many important points in this one part. Um, and the point that you touched on, it could be applied to every aspect of your life. I love the fact that you said you had a routine, right? And you stuck to your routine. Even when things got challenging, your routine is what kept going.
Right.
And that was really important because when it gets difficult, because you've been doing it, it was almost like a no-brainer. You didn't really have to think about it. It was like a natural process. So no matter when things changed up, it was like, nope, I got to do this, 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 this. And it helped you get through. Then you also pointed out eating clean, but eating clean for you, because it looks different for everyone. So some people say, well, this is what I do. And then other people try to follow, but doesn't work for them.
Mm-hmm.
You said whatever works best for you and your body. And I love that you said that. And so you have to know what works best for you and make it work. Just because not eating meat works for me doesn't mean it's not going to work for you, right? I try to cut certain things on my diet and then I'm about to pass out. Right?
Exactly.
I'm not eating anything.
Right.
And I'm about to pass out. So I have to know my body. So I really love that. Then let me ask you this. So you're a dental hygienist. You're a single mom with 2 kids. You're working out. You have these workouts that you do with a group of friends that you do to try to stay accountable, and you've adjusted your schedule. How do you balance all of this out so that you are caring for your family, you're working, and then you're still taking care of yourself? How do you find that balance?
I think I still am. I think because of quarantine and then getting back to work, and it's different now. There's no, see, beforehand there was like a system, there was a method, and you knew it and it worked, right? But now, like I was explaining to you before we signed on, I go back to work. I've at this job for over 10 years, and then he brings someone new management in, and he goes, that management says, well, now we need every hygienist to work Saturdays. I'm sorry.
We had an agreement. Me and you had an agreement. But you and me
had this agreement.
How you gonna let her break up this relationship?
Right.
I don't want 10 years to build this relationship. Who is she?
So again, so it's like you think, so now when we came back from quarantine, I was afraid of getting this virus. Never once in my life would I have thought that I would be afraid of being unemployed. Never crossed my mind. Once I knew that we were coming back to work, then I was like, I'm fine. My patients, I had a good rapport with my patients. I had a good rapport with my boss. So never once did I ever think that I would walk into the office one day and they were like, well, if you can't follow this new schedule that we're asking, then you can't. I'm sorry. You
would think they would be more understanding, especially because of the quarantine, right? So we just had to be quarantined. We just went through this. And now I come back and you tell me this?
Yes.
Like, so it throws you off.
It threw everything off.
Completely off. So now you have to rebalance.
Exactly.
Right?
And so, I mean, the good thing about growing up in Brownsville, in Brooklyn, we've kind of had a few things, in life. I was raised by a single mom, right? So you learn that life doesn't always go your way, even when you think that it should, right? You're doing the things that you're supposed to do. It should. Even with this weight loss process, it's like I am working out. why aren't you moving? Like, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm eating, I'm drinking my water,
Right.
but so that's how life is. And
Right.
so I would be lying to you to say if I said, yeah, well, so when that happened and I knew I didn't have a job anymore and I just sucked it up. No, I cried about it. And I definitely probably ate a snack or two. But but then the good thing about having my girls that I knew they would be messaging me and they would say to me, "Oh, so what time is the workout in the morning?" I knew that I had that. So it was like, okay, well now, hey, guess what, guys? I don't have a job, so we can work out a little later now. We don't have to wake up at the crack of dawn. Like we could sleep in another hour or so, and
Mm-hmm.
still be able to get our workouts in. So I think that's the thing is understanding how life has been. Again, being almost 40 years old, you've lived through enough where you can see how life can hand you things unexpectedly, and it's how you learn to deal with it. So I think as I've gotten older, I still call my older sister crying and fussing, like, so it's good to still have that go-to person that's going to
Support
listen
system.
when you want
Absolutely.
to. You don't want somebody to try to solve it. You don't want somebody, to be all up and on. You just want somebody to listen and hear your pain that you're going through at the time. So that's good to still have. And just sticking with your routine. So granted, yes, I did get some snacks that were comfort food when things hit the fan. But at the same time, I didn't bring a bunch of it in the house so that I would just go crazy. And then now I'm even more depressed because I feel like I've eaten everything in the house. And also just being more educated as far as fitness is concerned. If I did take a day off and I didn't work out, I did not gain all 75 pounds.
Right.
You know,
Right.
if I did eat some Haagen-Dazs ice cream, I did not gain all the weight back. It's like just knowing that yes, you might have had a bad day, you might be stressed, but that's not going to cause you to fall back into
Right.
habits. And then just my reliance on God for sure, and
Mm-hmm.
knowing that because I wanted to make sure that my schedule was perfect to fit my family's needs and my spiritual needs, keeping that first, that he would make sure that things worked out for us here.
Oh,
So
I love it. I love it. I love it, girl. Like, I mean, you just was like hitting so many gems. Boop, 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 boop. I love it. You know, and I love the fact that you're real. Like you're real with yourself, and if we learn to do that, then like you said, you won't beat yourself up if you make a mistake. Like it's okay. Remember, you are imperfect. You are going to make mistakes. And making one mistake don't mean that you failed. It
mm,
just means that you're human, right? And then you realize this is where I am. I'm not staying here, right? I'm gonna stay here for a minute and enjoy my couple of snacks, right? But then I'm gonna get up. I'm gonna dust myself off. I'm gonna curl my girl up.
right.
She's gonna be my encouragement. So having a great support system, right? And then move on and being okay with that. And
Right.
so I know unfortunately we have to wrap this up. So now, what if there's one thing that you can tell women out there, Melissa, that, trying to find their way on their natural hair care journey or trying to find their balance with life and with family and with work and self-care, what would you say to inspire them?
I would say allow yourself to be imperfect. In whatever situation that you're in, if you are a wife, a lot of times we try to fit this perfect mold as a wife or a mom, a daughter, like trying to help your parents out. You're imperfect, and allow yourself those imperfect moments. Allow yourself to understand that like you already said, you're not going to do everything right. So you're going to wake up some days and you're going to put that brush on them curls and they not going to lay right. So you're just going to have a bad day, but allow that. I think we just hold ourselves to such a higher standard because the world does, right? They expect mothers to be as if they stay at home all day, but at the same time bring in money.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like this. The world holds us at this standard of you have to have a certain look, even with our hair. Um, but just understand that you may not fall into that mold, and that's okay.
Right.
If you don't fit into that situation, whatever it may be, then that's okay. And take the time to find the situation that you do fit into, because it's not the problem is not always you.
Mhm. The
And
problem, really, honestly, just to piggyback off of what you said, the reality is that no one fits into that mode, right? Because you are an individual. You are unique. You were uniquely designed just the way you were. So there's no one person on the face of the earth that's you. Right? That's going to think completely like you, that's going to look completely like you. And I love what you said, because just like you said, being imperfect and accepting who you are and being okay with it, you could apply that to your hair, right? The way your hair grows out of your head is not a mistake. It is designed that way. And once you learn to love and embrace yourself, your natural beauty, what you've been blessed with, inside with your body in your hair, you won't try to fit into a mode. You'll be okay with not being accepted because you don't look like what the world thinks or what the world considers to be beautiful.
Right.
You will accept yourself, who you are. And once we do that, Melissa, we start to exude that natural pride, but not a pride, an arrogant pride, but pride of being who you are and loving yourself. And that is the key, because when you love and accept yourself, then others will love and accept you. People only treat you. No. They might have their thoughts and their feelings, but they're not going to respect you.
That's
right? Because you're not going to settle for anything less.
That's the difference. They will respect you. They may not, because for some reason, especially the way society has been made up, is that they, when you have that confidence in yourself, it intimidates them. For some reason, people prefer you to be a little bit more insecure and to feel like, they provide something better for you. But yes, but when you have that confidence in yourself, the one thing that you can definitely get is at least respect from others. That's
all that matters.
That's all you need.
Don't have to like me. You don't have to love me, but you do have to respect me.
Right? Exactly.
Right? Because at the end of the day, respect those who love you are the ones that matter, right? And that's it. But the respect everywhere you go, that's okay, right? Just let me be. Well, thank you so much, Melissa, for joining me on the Natural to Natural podcast today. It has been so much fun having you on. Tell everyone where they could find you, because you say you do have workout classes, right? Where you and a bunch of women get together. So if there's anyone who is on a weight loss journey and they need some support for women who are real, who have their challenging moments and want to be okay when they want to have a snack or two, they can join your group. So tell us where they could find you.
So my Instagram is miss.ms.transformher. And so when you type that in, you can just send me a direct message letting me know that you would like to join the workouts, and then I can send you the schedule for the week, and I'll send you the Zoom information, because we're still, trying to stay socially distant here in New York and making sure that everyone stays safe. But with Zoom is awesome, because you can just wake up and you be right in your comforts of your living room, your basement, wherever you are, and you can get the workout in. So so that's
okay. And so I see here that we have on the banner, it's wrong. We don't have the H at it. So it's transform her. So it's at ms.transformher.
Yes.
That's right. So it's transform and then her. Yes. So if you guys want to join an awesome class with wonderful, real, down-to-earth women and have some fun and some accountability, then follow Melissa on Instagram, on IG at Transform Her. Okay? All right, Melissa, thank you so much. It's been real. Until next time, everybody, have a happy, healthy hair day. Bye.